For the Braves with a record of 3-0 up against the Pirates. Jose Silva in his first start this season.
Well, everybody knows how special Maddux is. Probably the best pitcher there ever has been at changing speeds. This guy pitches with his head. Jose Silva, on the other hand, has great stuff, but unfortunately he's had terrible injuries throughout his career. And last year in the game against the Phillies, he turned to bunt a ball and completely missed it except with his wrist. Broke his wrist. The shame of this was he was 6-3 at this point, having a tremendous year. He later came back. You can see the agony that he is in, but he later came back from this, but never was the same. And tonight is his first time back after having been injured again in spring training. He got hit in the face with a batted ball, as you see this terrible injury last year off the wrist.
And we spoke about his comeback from the injuries with Silva.
I was a little frustrated after it happened, a little depressed, but that was only like 2 days, 3 days. Then after that, I was just like, oh well, just gotta wait it out. Hopefully it heals. Take care of myself. Try to do as many things as I can without messing with my arm or anything. Try to keep kind of in shape, but basically that's all I did. I mean, I didn't really just deal with it. And it's part of life.
Silva and Maddux, the Pirates and the Braves, coming up next on Baseball Thursday. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Fram Filters. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later. And by Microsoft Web TV Service. Web TV. Watch what's possible. Back at Turner Field on a chilly night in Atlanta. The Pittsburgh Pirates with a record of 9-10. The Atlanta Braves 13-7. Let's check out the Pirates batting order for tonight's game. Brought to you by Zima. The catcher, Jason Kendall, will lead things off, followed by the shortstop, Pat Mears. Right fielder Brian Giles, the former Indian, with 6 home runs. Kevin Young in the cleanup spot. Brant Brown bats 5th. Ed Sprague is the 3rd baseman, followed by Al Martin in left field. 2nd baseman Warren Morris. And the pitcher for the Pirates tonight, his first start of the year, Jose Silva.
Here we go. When you got Greg Maddux on the mound, you're going to see a real artist at work. This guy doesn't throw exceptionally hard. Upper 80s fastball, a great changeup, circle change. He uses a cut fastball, a curveball, and as I mentioned earlier, he might be the best in the major leagues at changing speed, maybe as good as there ever has been. He little on, little off, keeps the hitters off balance.
Maddux 3-0 in 4 starts. The Braves have scored 42 runs for him, over 10 per game, as Jason Kendall swings at the first pitch and grounds out to the shortstop, Walt Weiss. Braves tied for 4th in fielding in the National League. Klesko, Boone, Weiss, and Chipper Jones. Nixon, Andrew Jones, and Jordan in the outfield, with Eddie Perez behind the plate.
Boy, is this a guy, good player. Boy, when you talk to his manager, Bobby Cox says this might be the best he has ever seen. Now remember, Bobby Cox has seen some great ones.
Pat Mears, the former Minnesota Twin, takes strike 1 from Maddux. Mears batting .227. His first year in the National League, drove in 70 runs a year ago in Minnesota.
Kenny, we're talking about defense, and you talk about a club normally being strong if they're strong up the middle. This Brave team is very strong defensively.
1-2.
Maddux just misses, but Maddux, 8 consecutive Gold Gloves. This guy can really pick it. And then you go through the middle. Walt Weiss is just so well versed at playing defensive shortstop. That pitch is fouled away. Brett Boone, the Gold Glove winner, at second base, and then Andrew Jones at center field. How can you get any stronger than this? And both their catchers, there's Boone, both their catchers, Eddie Perez, who is Greg Maddux's favorite catcher, and Javi Lopez, are excellent defensive catchers. So this club is very strong.
Low and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes, with 1 away. Top of the first inning. Pirates won the game on Tuesday night 5-3. And the Braves came back last night 5-4 with 3 in the 9th. And there's a base hit into right field. A 1-out single for Pat Mears.
There's one thing about watching Greg Maddux when he pitches. he's not a guy who's going to try to strike everybody out. He tries to throw the ball where he wants it. Might be a little more difficult tonight. It's cold here and very damp. Whenever it's cold, a pitcher has trouble gripping the ball because the ball gets slick. You can see him flipping it around in his hands. Normally, on a cold night like this, the umpires let you blow on your hand, and they have already told him he can do that. That moistens the hand a little bit and makes the ball a little tackier.
You saw the numbers. Maddux did not allow a run in 2 starts against the Pirates last year in 16 2/3. In his last 9 starts against Pittsburgh, 5-0 with only 8 earned runs allowed. Brian Giles, who spent the last 3 years with the Cleveland Indians. Pat Mears, the runner on first. And Giles takes strike 1. Angel Hernandez is our home plate umpire tonight. Larry Vanover down at first base. Randy Marsh at second. And Joe West working third tonight.
You see Greg Maddux really work the grip in the glove. He's always changing it to get to the pitch he wants.
Towering fly ball to right. Jordan does not have room. 1-2.
With Maddux, everything is a touch pitch. You know, he doesn't try to blow you away with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. We mentioned his fastballs in the upper 80s, but he puts pressure on the ball by using his index finger if he wants to make it run one way, or the large finger on his right hand to go another way. Then he switched the ball around in his fingers in order to get a circle changeup grip or the curveball. So he's constantly changing his grip. You can see him switching the fingers on it. Most pitchers, if they have a trick pitch like a split finger or a circle change, will set up the most difficult grip first and then switch to something else. But with Maddux, he can just go right in and get the feel right away. He's got the circle change set now.
And he strikes out Brian Giles. First strikeout for Maddux. 2 away. And the Pirates first.
And that's that circle change. It means he puts his thumb and index finger together on the ball, and then the ball will go almost like a screwball away from a left-hander. Great arm action. See, it looks like a fastball, but then it just dies and kind of moves over toward the third baseline. Terrific pitch.
So with 2 away, here's Kevin Young, the cleanup man. Bounce to the second baseman, Boone, and that does it for the Pirates in the first. 1 hit, 1 left. Nixon, Boone, Chipper Jones due up for the Braves. 47 degrees at game time. It has rained on and off today. Drizzling right now as we take a look at the Braves batting order, brought to you by Zima. 40-year-old Otis Nixon will lead things off for Atlanta, followed by the second baseman Brett Boone. Chipper Jones bats third. Brian Jordan in the cleanup spot. Ryan Klesko bats fifth. Andrew Jones in center field will bat sixth. The bottom 3, Eddie Perez, Walt Weiss, and the pitcher Greg Maddux.
Kenny, they're going to face a big right-hander, Jose Silva, 25 years old. He's 6'5", 230. Got tremendous stuff. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got a great curveball. Goes straight down. He's improving with his changeup. Good fielder. Has trouble holding runners on as well, which will happen very often when you have a great big pitcher. And of course, when you got Otis Nixon stepping in, he's the kind of guy that sprays the ball around and then tries to run. So we'll see what happens here.
Here's the 0-1 from Silva, making his first start of the majors this year. Started 2 games for AAA Nashville on a rehab assignment. He won both. Also hit a home run. 2-1 on Nixon.
And this is what Nixon will try to do. He's been around the game a long time. He'll try to work the pitcher deep in the count to see what he's got and try to work his way on.
Nixon has 8 steals on the year. In fact, he went over the 600 career stolen base mark earlier this month.
I remember Otis many years ago coming up to the Yankee organization, turned down a scholarship to North Carolina to go into pro ball, and here he is still playing at 40 years of age.
And he takes a strike, full count. Nixon leading off the Braves first. Right back to Silva. one away. We spoke with Silva about making his major league comeback against Maddux.
There's no better way to do it, huh? Against the Braves, against Maddux. But I just think, hey, you got to do it sometime. Might as well be the first time out. I mean, I haven't pitched in a long time, but it's all, I think that's just mental. Physically, I feel good. Mentally, I feel strong, ready to go. Just got to prove to everybody and just basically to myself that I still got it. It's been a long time since I pitched a major league game. It was last June.
Well, what a great attitude, Kenny. To hear a youngster, now you just saw that right over the top curveball, but you hear a youngster talk with that kind of confidence and that good mindset. That's terrific.
The 0-2 to Boone. Strike 3 call. Boone punched out by Silva. Silva, 25 years of age, originally drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. As we take one more look.
Well, this fastball was right on the outside corner. What set that really up was the pitch before that. Here's the pitch from this other angle. Right on the money was the curveball before it.
Chipper Jones fouled down the left field line. 0-1. Jones with a 2-run double in the ninth last night to tie the game at 4. Chipper with a hit in 9 consecutive games, batting .288 on the season.
I'm just watching Jose Silva work, and he works quickly. Doesn't keep his outfield and infield out here in the cold long. He gets the ball and goes right at the hitter. And that's what you like to see, because the guys standing around behind you when it's a cold night like this get a little stiff, and the defense sometimes gets on their heels if the pitcher is very slow.
Bounce to the first baseman Young, but it is a foul ball, says first base umpire Larry Vanover. Pirates have committed 17 errors, 7 by the third baseman Sprague, 2 in the game last night. Young, Morris, Mears, and Sprague, with Martin, Brant, Brown, and Giles, and Kendall behind the plate.
Well, there's Eddie Sprague. Now, he's a good player. He's been a good defensive third baseman throughout his career, but fielding, you can go into a slump just as easy as you do hitting.
Off speed pitch, strike 3 call. Silva retires the side in order. In his comeback, he strikes out the last 2. In Atlanta, Brant Brown, Ed Sprague, and Al Martin for the Pirates. Here in the second, Brown came over from the Cubs during the offseason, batting only .154. And he falls behind. No balls, 2 strikes.
Brant Brown was a first baseman. Then, of course, the Cubs had some problems in center field. He went there for him last year defensively. Boy, Maddux makes it look easy. That's that changeup again. Moves the ball around. He just doesn't fool around. He doesn't waste pitches. He doesn't walk many people. But can he make the ball move? Watch this pitch. Eddie Perez way out. Boom. The bottom falls out of it. That's that circle change that when you finish your grip and you pronate the ball almost goes down like a screwball away from left-handers.
Ed Sprague steps in, and he takes strike 1. Sprague batting .297. His first National League season. After 8 in the American League with Toronto and then Oakland. High and tight, 1-1.
Check his stance out. He looks like Mickey Tettleton. You remember when Mickey Tettleton was the big switch hitter both for Oakland and Detroit? He and Baltimore, he hit the same way with a bat just laid back.
Bounced up the middle. Second hit of the game for the Pirates. Jeff Fox Sportsnet brings you live second round coverage of the Shell Houston Open. David Duval looks to defend his title as the PGA Tour swings into Texas. Coverage begins tomorrow, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox Sportsnet, so check local listings. Look at the leaderboard through 1 round. Eric Booker at 6 under par. Catch round 2 tomorrow on Fox Sportsnet. Sprague on at first base. Al Martin batting .242. but he's fared well against Maddux in his career, batting .342, 13 for 38 against Maddux, as opposed to Tom Glavine, who started last night's game. Martin is 0 for 16 against Glavine, which explains why he did not play last night. And he hits this one in the air to center field. Andrew Jones over to his left. 2 away in the Pirates' second.
It amazes me to watch Andrew Jones catch the ball. He almost has an arrogance about him, like, how dare you hit this ball out here to me? He makes it look so easy. You remember many years ago, Willie Mays, the greatest player I ever saw play, used to catch it with a basket catch, and people would say it was a hot dog trick. That's the way he felt comfortable. If you ever watch Andrew, in fact, he looks like he's yawning. This game is easy. But he catches the ball with the loosest hands that you'll ever want to see.
2 outs. Here's Warren Morris, runner going, and they have him caught in a rundown. Maddux to Klesko, and that will do it for the Pirates in the second. Sprague tagged out of the rundown. No score after 1.5. Ed Sprague caught in a rundown to end the Pirates' second. For the Braves, Jordan, Klesko, and Andrew Jones against Jose Silva, who retired the Braves in order in the first. Brian Jordan batting .354, 8th in the National League, as he fouls off the first pitch.
Here's the pickoff move. Now Maddux just steps off and spins around, and what happened, Sprague was just guessing. You know, Maddux is not very quick to the plate. That's one of the few things he doesn't do real well, and that's delivering the ball to the plate. So if you guess right, you got a good chance to steal a base. And they probably Ed Sprague, who doesn't steal a lot of bases, figured they're not paying any attention to me, but Maddux is so sharp and knows what's going on all around him on the field, was aware of his taking that quick lead.
Ball 2 now, 2-1 on Jordan, who is among the top 10 in no fewer than 11 offensive categories in the National League. And he hits this one in the air to left. Al Martin moving over to his right. 1 away in the Braves' second. Next week on Baseball Thursday, Mo Vaughn leads the Angels into Detroit to face Tony Clark and the Tigers. Some of you will see the same Pittsburgh Pirates against Mark McGwire and the St. Louis Cardinals. Check local listings for the matchup in your area. Some of you will see Mo Vaughn, others Mark McGwire, Tony Clark, also off to a powerful start in Detroit. 0-1 on Ryan Klesko. Klesko batting .364. He missed 9 starts recently with a sore hamstring. Started on Tuesday against the Pirates for the first time in 13 days. Popped foul. No room for Sprague. 0-2.
You know, it's interesting to look at Ryan Klesko. Don Baylor, the new hitting coach for the Braves, has such a presence about him. And coming over, of course, after being the manager since the Rockies were begun, and Don is such a special guy when it comes to the way he reacts with players. Well, he's working with Klesko, and Klesko looks like a little different hitter. He used to have an open stance. Now he's parallel. Don works with your head as well as your mechanics, but Klesko looks like a different hitter. He's not jumping out real quick on every pitch.
Inside, 1-2.
But Klesko used to swing so hard he'd almost fall down on some pitches. He's always been a hard swinger, and on sitting on that fastball.
Strikeout number 3 for Jose Silva, who's retired the first 5 Atlanta Braves.
I'll tell you, when any pitcher can mix a 93 to 95 mile an hour fastball with good off-speed pitches, look at this thing go down. Now he's got a straight downer curveball. He's also got a pretty good changeup, and it looks like he can change on his curveball, take a little bit off. Because when you got a cold night and your mindset is, well, I better get my hands going here because it's going to sting if I don't get the head of the bat out, and then you throw an off-speed pitch, you can't stop the bat.
Andrew Jones, 3 hits last night, including the game-winning single in the bottom of the 9th. He's 9 for his last 20 overall. 2 outs in the second. 1-1.
Well, Don Baylor's had an impact on Andrew Jones as well. Andrew used to go up there well, and he can hit anybody's fastball and pull it. He really has quick hands.
but the tendency is to jump on it too quickly. Last night, he had a great game. Early in the game, he made one of these fantastic catches he's getting used to, but here he wins the game on a high pitch back through the middle to win the ball game. He has become more of a disciplined hitter, and that's Don Baylor working with this kid who is, of course, maturing too. He's still a baby, but Don Baylor has a way of getting to people. Remember, he's the guy that made Andres Galarraga turn around to a tremendously different looking hitter with an open stance and has turned his career around.
2-2 on Jones, 2 out. And the pitch from Silva. Bounced foul behind third base.
One of the things Andrew Jones did originally was he'd commit very quickly and overstride. He stays back a little bit more now. You see his weight still back. He's a little bit out front. This was a breaking ball, but he's able to stay back enough that he can foul the ball off.
Got a piece of that one, so the count remains 2-2.
The problem that he had for his first couple of years was that he was so geared up for the fastball that he'd jump out to that front leg. And if somebody changed speeds, now you can see how he's pushing his weight back this way. That helps him stay back.
Silva just misses with that one. Full count.
You know, one of the things you really talk about the game of baseball is balance. So what they've got him doing is pushing his weight back so his weight stays over that back leg a little bit more.
Slow roller down the third base line. First hit of the game for the Braves. The Pirates waited and waited and waited for it to roll foul. It never did.
Now here's the pitch. It's a fastball that Andrew Jones just, remember, it's been raining here. That ball hit the ground and just almost stuck, and the only thing the Pirates can do is hope it goes foul, but they looks like the lines are banked so that anything that's hitting along those lines will stay fair. Not only that, it is damp.
Lenny Randle would have gotten down on his hands and knees.
I don't know if he'd have done that tonight. He'd have gotten his knees dirty, but you remember that, Lenny getting down? That was on artificial turf, blowing like a son of a gun to make it go foul.
So a 2-out infield single for Jones. Here's Eddie Perez. And a base hit to right field. So all of a sudden the Braves will have runners on the corners.
Well, Eddie Perez was known in his early years with the Braves as just a good defensive catcher, but he has become a very good offensive player. Originally he tried to yank everything. He goes the other way with this pitch. He knows that Jose Silva, the big right-hander, throws hard. He didn't try to do too much with it. He shoots it through the right side. Here it is. Here's that fastball up, and he hits it through the right side. I'm not so sure that's where he was trying to go with it, but it's nicely placed.
So runners on first and third with 2 outs for Walt Weiss, whose 9-game hitting streak came to an end last night. Batting .262 so far, and he falls behind 0-1.
Walt Weiss is a switch hitter, and right where that last fastball was where he has trouble. From the left side, you have to pitch him on the hands, but you pitch him out over the plate and he'll shoot the ball to left field. You throw him an off-speed pitch, he'll pull it to right.
The 0-1 from Silva. Popped up, Sprague calling for it. And the Braves strand 2 in the second. We are still scoreless from Turner Field. Kenny Albert, Jeff Torborg back in Atlanta as we head to the third inning from Turner Field. Braves and the Pirates are scoreless. Warren Morris, Jose Silva, and Jason Kendall for the Pirates here in the third against Greg Maddux. Maddux 3-0. He has never started a season, believe it or not, Jeff, 4-0.
Well, that's hard to believe, isn't it, with the kind of years that he's had? Boy, he's fun to watch pitch, unless you're in the other dugout. He really is some artist the way he pitches.
Warren Morris was at the plate when Sprague was picked off, and Morris takes ball 1. Well, you were in the other dugout. What was it like managing against Greg Maddux?
It was not fun at all. You knew you were in trouble if they scored a run. He just was so tough to hit. He just keeps everybody off balance, a little on, a little off. And It's amazing how this Brave starting rotation, there's no messing around with these guys. They're all serious. They sit there and study the game. That's why they're so good. Of course, they also have a rivalry with one another with the bats. They challenge you, who's the best hitting pitcher and so on, but they really are into the game. As Tommy Glavine, not taking an eye off of what's going on out here. Pitched an excellent game last night.
2-2 on Morris. Maddux homered this year.
Yes.
And he also picked up his first major league triple in his last start.
And I guarantee that's all they want to talk about. You're talking about Maddux trying to go 4-0. Glavine was almost 0-4 with last night's game.
In the air to left, Otis Dixon, one away. Well, nobody, not even Jeff Torborg, tells it like it is, quite like Jim Rome does. Shooting straight from the lip, taking no prisoners. Nobody does it better. Catch Jim Rome on The Last Word tonight on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings. Jose Silva comes to the plate for the first time and lines one into the glove of Ryan Klesko. 2 away.
Well, you said Silva hit a home run in a minor league rehab game. He just hit a bullet, and Ryan Klesko made a great play on this. Remember, Klesko has been playing a lot of left field, obviously, over the last few years, but he basically is a first baseman. Here's the ball right down the middle. Nice reaction by Klesko. Here's the pitch in the middle of the plate. Silva hits a bullet.
Here's Jason Kendall, who grounded out to short in the first inning. Jason, the subject of a lengthy feature article in Sports Illustrated this week. Two-time All-Star in his first 3 seasons with the Pirates. Finished 5th in the National League last year in batting at .327. Also set a league record for catchers with 26 stolen bases.
Of course, his father was a major league catcher, and when I was managing the Indians many years ago, his father Freddie played for me. Good baseball family, good people. This kid is really a sharp kid. You wonder if maybe down the road will he be catching in his later years, because you don't want to lose that speed he's got. Reminds you a little of Craig Biggio, having been a catcher before he became an all-star second baseman as well.
This one falls in shallow right field. Third hit of the game for the Pirates.
Well, see all the tape on his hand. That tape on his hand is not to hit those little boops to right field in cold weather. That tape is on his hand to give signs so that the pitcher can see him in a night that might, especially when it's in the twilight, you can't see. You see the tape on his right hand. That's for signs, giving signs. Well, watch this open stance. He kind of dives into the ball, and this ball, he gets way down on the handle of the bat and just bloops it over the first baseman's head into right field. Maybe he's glad he has that tape on there.
Yes, perhaps Kendall's luck starting to turn a bit with the bloop single. He broke an 0 for 15 on Tuesday. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Pat Mears single to right in the first. He takes strike 1.
Well, we talked about Greg Maddux doing most everything right. One of the problems he has, and he's more concerned about getting the hitter out, is he's a little slow to the plate with a good base runner on.
And there goes Kendall. Here's the throw down to second, and Kendall is in with his 8th stolen base of the season.
And before I could get it out of my mouth, he takes off. Eddie Perez tried to get that ball off as fast as he could. The throw were down, it might have been a little closer. Here's Eddie. Look how quick his feet are, but the throw's a little high. And as you see Kendall going in, ball had a little tail towards second base. See the quickness of Eddie Perez. He's just trying to get it down there, and it was not a real accurate throw. Nice jump and nice slide.
Base hit it to center field. Kendall around third, and he will score. Pirates lead 1-0. Second hit of the game and the second run batted in of the season for Pat Mears.
Well, that was a manufactured run. Jason Kendall really did that. A little bloop to right field, steals the base, and here's the ball right up the middle. You can see Maddux not too happy, obviously, over this, but Mears is a pretty good hitter. He hits this ball right back through the middle. talk about uniqueness. You don't see catchers leading off in many lineups, and you also don't see him stealing many bases.
Brian Giles struck out his first time to the plate. Kendall quoted as saying, "I'm happy as long as I'm not hitting ninth. I'll hit anywhere else."
Listen, I can tell you hitting ninth is better than hitting 10th. So when I was asked to hit ninth, thank you very much. I'm glad to be in the lineup.
One and one on Giles. 2 outs. Mears the runner on first. 1 run in for the Pirates here in the third. We mentioned earlier the run support for Greg Maddux this year. Braves have scored 10.5 runs per game in his 4 previous starts. He fell behind 6-3 in his last start on Saturday in Florida. Wound up winning the game 8-7.
Well, that's one thing about Maddux. There'll be nights that even your greatest pitchers will have problems, but he stays with it. He doesn't panic. He doesn't overthrow.
Sharp ground ball handled by Klesko. And that does it for the Pirates, but they score 1 run on 2 hits and lead the Braves 1-0. Welcome back to Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net from Atlanta. Pirates leading the Braves 1-0 in the rubber game of this 3-game set. Greg Maddux takes strike 1 from Jose Silva. Maddux 3 for 9 at the plate this year, including the 1 home run. He's driven in 4. We talked about the competition between the Braves pitchers at the plate. Braves pitchers combined have driven in 6 runs, 4 by Greg Maddux.
That's a pretty good year for me that he's had this month.
And there's a base hit into right field. So Maddux is now 4 for 10. He's batting 400.
You know, before the game he was saying, hey, has anybody looked at my slugging percentage? 889 going to this. Well, we're talking about a real good athlete here. He does the same thing at the plate he does in the mound. He doesn't try to do too much. This ball's in the outside part of the plate. Just shoots it out that way. And he won't smile. He doesn't want to smile now after getting a base hit.
So a leadoff single here in the third for Maddux. Otis Nixon bounced out to the pitcher Silva. His first time up. Third base umpire Joe West says strike 1. Otis 40 years of age. He's played for 9 major league clubs. You mentioned earlier, broken with the Yankees in 1983. He tied his career high last year as a 39-year-old, batting .297 with the Twins. 0-2.
We were kidding before the game. You and I were down talking to Ozzie Guillen, who was a captain for me with Carlton Fisk with the White Sox, and kidding about that he gave me gray hair. And Otis Nixon says, look at the gray hair I gave Pat Corrales, who had been his manager with Cleveland. And Pat started to laugh on the other side of the room.
The 0-2 from Silva. Ground ball to Sprague. Over to second. Nixon beats it out. So Maddux forced out at second. They get 1. And Nixon is the base runner at first.
This is really not that easy a play. This ball is off a left-hander's bat. He had to back up a little bit. There was no chance with a double play. The ball wasn't hit hard enough. Sprague had to back up just a little bit on that to get the right hop.
So Maddux sits down, gets to talk about his hit with his fellow starters. 1 away, Brett Boone, who was caught looking back in the first inning.
Kenny, one of the things that you look for too in a pitcher, and especially a big pitcher, is how quick he can get the ball to the plate. If he's long and lanky, sometimes takes a long time to get to the plate.
Held off down the right field line.
And most clubs have numbers on how fast a pitcher can get the ball off from his first move in the stretch position to the ball to the catcher. And then they also have times on the catcher. So obviously the Braves will know exactly how fast Silva can get the ball to plate. Now, of course, if it's a fastball, it gets there quicker than it does a breaking ball. But Otis Nixon, when he gets a read here, might be trying to run.
The 0-1. Boone fouls another pitch off. No balls, 2 strikes.
And normally when you have a real good base runner, you're seeing Otis looking for signs at third base. A real good base runner normally is on, a base stealer I should say, is on his own. He can go when he wants to. But they also put a set of signs on that you call a must go. You want him to go in a certain situation. And maybe in this one they don't mind if he were to be thrown out. Boone could lead off the next inning. Well, that's not true. There's only 1 out. But it would be that just ruined my whole theory.
If there were 2 outs.
If there were 2 outs, you would do that, yes. Maybe that's why I'm up here in the booth. Don't know how many outs are up.
For example, Sprague was picked off. There goes Nixon. And a base hit into left field. Nixon into third, and the Braves have runners on the corners. They execute the hit and run perfectly.
Well, I didn't know how many outs there were, but I knew how many strikes there were, and I think that probably is a run and hit. And a run and hit is a little bit different than a hit and run in the sense that the runner will be going, and then the hitter has to put the ball in play, especially with 2 strikes where he would just try to hit the ball. That's a breaking ball. Boone opened up and hit it through the hole in the left side. But I believe instead of what you would normally call a hit and run, that was Otis Nixon running on his own and Brett Boone hitting behind him.
So as was the case in the second inning, Braves with runners on the corners. This time only 1 out for Chipper Jones, who was caught looking to end the Braves' first inning. So Nixon down at third, Boone the base runner at first.
What's amazing about Chipper this year is he's gotten bigger over the winter. He's worked with the weights, but he's hitting better from the right side than he is the left side. That's not normally the way he is.
Ground ball to the shortstop. Mears had some trouble with it, but no, they don't turn the double play. Safe at first, but Jones is hobbling. He's had some groin and leg problems over the last 4 days. Braves have tied the score as Jones beats the throw.
Well, Chipper knows there's a chance here that he is going to be double up. He hits the ball right at Mears. And as he hits this, he knows there's a chance of a double play with a run wouldn't score, and he is really hauling it down the first baseline, and I think he probably pulled that groin a little bit. See, he really hits that base hard. He is really busting it to get down there to try to and he felt it. When you jump for the base, that's when you feel it.
Jones injured his right groin in a game on Sunday. He was bothered by a sore leg last night. RBI for Jones, his 15th of the year. No error on the play charged to Mears because you cannot assume the double play, and he did get the 1 out at second. Chipper, one of the heroes last night for the Braves. Bottom of the 9th, trailing 4-2. Doubles to the wall, 2-run score. Braves tied the game at 4, went on to win 5-4 on the Andrew Jones base hit. Chipper Jones will remain in the game after driving in the Braves' first run.
And the fact that he has that tender groin, last night Bobby Cox, after that double driving in those 2 runs to tie the game, pinch ran for him. They're concerned about the groin pull, and it's cold out here tonight and damp.
Brian Jordan takes ball 1. Jordan fly to left in the second inning. 0 for 1 tonight. Right back to Silva. Quick reaction. Inning over. 1 run on 2 hits for the Braves. In the third, we are tied at 1. After he was released by both Pittsburgh and Kansas City during the mid-90s. Counts foul, 1-2.
That's amazing, isn't it? That a player with this kind of talent was released by two teams. You'd say, well, what were they looking at? Well, sometimes the players have not put their game together, haven't matured yet, don't have a real focus on the game. Sometimes it takes a rude awakening to make somebody work harder.
Base hit into right field, so a leadoff single in the top of the 4th for Kevin Young as he extends his hitting streak to 6 games.
Well, that's a nice piece of hitting, and that's really the way you have to hit against a guy like Maddux. But boy, this guy's put up some big numbers over the last couple of years. Look at this. You know, when you think about the year he had last year alone, 27 home runs and 108 RBIs.
So Young on at first. He's stolen 2 bases this year. Brent Brown struck out to lead off the 2nd inning. Oh, 1.
You know, I look at Brant Brown and I think a lot of people think about the catch that he tried to make last year against Milwaukee that almost cost the Cubs a chance to go to the wild card playoff game with the Giants. And you worry about that as a member of maybe his team or his organization, whether that would really scar him about playing the outfield, because originally he was a first baseman.
1-1.
But he's changed uniforms, and of course, you know, when you take a guy off of first base and you put him in center field, you don't normally see that kind of shift from those 2 positions. It's like what they did here with Dale Murphy. Took him out from behind the plate and put him in center field, and he won a couple Gold Gloves.
Runner was moving on the play, and Brown is safe at first.
I'll tell you, this was a play in this game. This play right here was a great play by Boone.
And we'll take another look in just a moment. But first, we want to let you know it's the world's greatest drivers going at it on the world's greatest circuits. The McLarens look to repeat as the F1 season comes to the Ferrari's home turf. It's the Grand Prix of San Marino, Sunday, 10 a.m. on Fox Sports Net. Here's Ed Sprague. He takes ball 1. Sprague singled and then was picked off in the 2nd.
Kenny, what I was trying to say before on that ball that was hit to Boone, the base runner was going, so Boone was shifting over towards second base and made a very quick feed to get the runner at second.
Weiss charging, goes across, 2 away. Brown moves over to second.
So what we're saying is the Braves make the little plays. They do the little things, and certainly helps their pitching staff. And their pitching staff, most of them get a lot of balls hit on the ground. Walt Weiss has been very good for years. Nice play, and throwing on the run is not easy. Here comes Walt. He kind of goes around this ball, shows good arm strength, throwing off of one leg like a quarterback throwing on the run.
So 2 outs in the Pirates' 4th. Brant Brown, the runner on second. Al Martin takes ball 1. Martin flying to center back in the 2nd inning. Martin originally drafted by the Braves back in 1985. He spent 7 seasons in the Braves minor league system before signing with the Pirates in November of '91. He made it all the way up to AAA Richmond for 44 games in 1991. Never got a sniff with Atlanta, and the rest is history. What a job he's done for the Pirates. This is 8th season in Pittsburgh, and the Braves will put Martin on to pitch to Warren Morris.
Well, you mentioned earlier that Martin has hit. Now Martin has hit Maddux well in the past, so Bobby Cox obviously has those stats around him, and they're going to pitch to the younger, when you say younger, a rookie in Warren Morris, who years ago was a big hero for LSU in the College World Series. With a home run that beat Miami for the championship.
With 2 outs in the 9th, bottom of the 9th inning. for LSU. Came over last July to the Pirates in a trade from the Texas Rangers, along with former top draft pick Todd Van Poppel in exchange for pitcher Esteban Loaiza. Runners on first and second with 2 outs, 1-1 to score, and 1-1 the count on Morris.
Well, as a manager, you have all your computer readouts, all your matchups, what one hitter did against a certain pitcher. Also, not just what he did, but where he hit the ball. And here's Gene Lamont, the Pittsburgh manager. He knows what hitters have done against Maddux or against relievers.
1-2.
And Bobby Cox on the defensive side also knows what the Pirate hitters have done against this particular pitcher, and he knows what they've done in most recent at bats, and he even knows where the ball was hit. So you sit there and try to get the proper matchup, and that's why the intentional walk with Al Martin to get to another left-handed hitter.
The 1-2 for Maddux. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Each team scored a run in the third inning. The pitcher, Jose Silva, waiting on deck for the Pirates. Should Morris reach base. Morris only 3 for his last 21. 0 for 1 tonight. The 2-2. Right back to the box. Maddux takes the stop and throws out Morris. Maddux, a winner of 8 consecutive Gold Glove awards, showing why right there. Well, we told you about the weather here in Atlanta. They were ready.
You need more than just the raincoat. It is cold out here. I don't know what the temperature is, but it rained, drizzled most of the afternoon, and that wind is blowing hard from right to left, and it just you can feel it.
It is not Hotlanta tonight. Let's go. Andrew Jones and Eddie Perez for the Braves here in the bottom of the 4th inning against Jose Silva, pitching in his first major league game this season, coming back from a couple of freak injuries. Last June, broken right arm suffered while attempting to bunt in a game against the Phillies, and then earlier this year in March during spring training suffered a severe facial contusion. He was hit in the face by a batted ball, went on the 15-day DL, as Plesko rounds out to the second baseman Morris, 1 away. Jeff, our trivia question tonight brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Bobby Cox waiting for the question as well. There it is. Who was the last team other than Atlanta to win back-to-back National League Eastern Division titles?
Oh, that's a good question.
We'll let you think about it. We'll let Bobby think about it for a couple of minutes as he ponders the Sherwin-Williams trivia question. Andrew Jones. The Braves' first hit of the game back in the second, an infield single. Ball which stopped in the high grass down the third baseline. 0-2 on Jones. Silva has allowed 1 run on 4 Braves hits over the first 3 innings. Charging is the shortstop, Mears, and he throws out Jones. 2 away in the Braves' 4th. We've talked about the injuries Silva has suffered over the last 2 seasons. He's only faced the Braves once prior to tonight, and ironically the starter in that game last April here at Turner Field, Greg Maddux. Braves won the game 7-0. Silva did not make it out of the 5th. He allowed 6 runs on 11 hits and 4 2/3. Much better start so far tonight for Silva.
Yeah, you just wonder how far he'll go tonight, having just rehab. But he's a big, strong guy. You know who's really helping him? It's really fun to watch good catchers work. And Jason Kendall is so smooth behind the plate. He stays real low. He doesn't move around much. He gives a nice target. how relaxed he is.
That one got away from Silva.
But when you look at a catcher who's what we call very quiet behind the plate, and both Eddie Perez, who just was ducking as the hitter, when he's catching, he does the same thing. That's a curveball that slips out of his hand. But the catcher stays very smooth. It really helps the pitcher. First of all, his concentration, but also gets him some close pitches around the plate. And Jason really handles the glove nicely.
1-1 fouled back just underneath our broadcast booth. 1-2.
When you see a catcher who catches with his glove back to his body and just receives the ball, there's where the term receiver comes from. You don't want a catcher to be a boxer, a stabber. Receiver.
1-2 from Silva. Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 4 for Jose Silva. 4 innings complete from Atlanta. We are tied at 1. Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Greg Maddux looking to make it 4-0 tonight for the Atlanta Braves. As we head to the 5th, tied at 1. Jose Silva will lead it off for the Pirates. Silva lined out to the first baseman Klesko back in the 3rd inning. You see the career numbers, 2 career base hits for Silva. Silva, Kendall, and Mears for the Pirates here in the 5th. Not enough room for the right fielder Brian Jordan. Silva did come back and pitch down the stretch for the Pirates last year. But would you sense any hesitation at the plate after he suffered the broken hand while attempting to bunt?
The only thing I see, Kenny, he's a long way from the plate. He stands way away and just tries to get his hands extended. That's a smart thing to do when you've broken an arm. I've seen that happen. I haven't seen a broken arm like that. I've seen fingers around the bat when guys went to bunt, and we showed how the ball hit him in the wrist area. And it affected him, of course, when he tried to come back. Throwing the ball the last part of last season was 0-4, and his ERA was terrible. It was over 8. But he stands up there swinging at bat. He doesn't look like he's afraid.
The 0-1. Silva went around. No balls, 2 strikes.
You can see how far away from the plate he is, which is probably the better part of valor, you know, the judgment here.
Silva strikes out. 3rd K for Greg Maddux. Once again, our Sherwin-Williams trivia question: who was the last team other than Atlanta to win back-to-back National League Eastern Division titles? And the answer is the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 1991 and 92.
He hacked at the 2-0, now the 2-1. Line drive and a base hit! Justice has scored the tying run. Brave to the plate. And he is safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Wow, I remember that. What I remember was Jim Leyland, of course, managing the Pirates. Bobby Cox, of course, for the Braves. But Jim Leyland tried to stay with Doug Drabek in that game as far as he could. Well, what a tough way to lose the pennant on a play like that, but great game.
One away in the 5th. Jason Kendall 1 for 2. He scored the Pirates' only run. Maddux unable to make a play on that one. A diving stop by Weiss. No throw. 2nd hit of the game for Kendall.
Well, Jason Kendall uses an open stance, as we mentioned, dives into the ball, and he tries to hit the ball to right field or center. He blooped one the first time up, and this one he hits right back to them. Now watch him close up and hit that ball out over. And Greg Maddux tried to make a skate save on that one, but it was not to be.
It's cold enough.
You're right.
So Kendall, who stole his 8th of the year back in the 3rd inning, on at first with 1 out. Pitch out. Ball 1 to Pat Mears.
Now the Braves are thinking the same thing. Now you can do a couple things here if you're the Pirates. You can run Kendall in a steal situation, or you can hit and run, because Mears can handle the bat. But the Braves at the same time, with the 2 hits tonight, you can see that he must be able to see the ball from Maddux.
Mears fouls this one off. Back behind the plate, 1-1. 2 innings ago, Kendall on the move. His 8th stolen base as he beats the throw from Perez.
Well, now it comes down to the count. If you're going to run at a certain count, you would rather go when it's in your favor if you're the base runner.
Now 1-2 on Mears.
Now it is not in your favor now, but there's also a thought here. If you're a base runner trying to understand the counts and what pitch might be thrown, even though the Braves might pitch out here, Jason Kendall might be thinking, well, they might throw a breaking ball here because they're that far up on Pat Mears, the hitter.
Kendall holds, and Mears strikes out. Strikeout number 4 for Maddux.
And what I was trying to say was, when you see this is a breaking ball, by the way. It's not where Maddux wanted it. It's far enough away, but it's up, and that scares you. You can see Maddux after he delivers it, he kind of makes a hop, like, whoa, boy, I'm glad I got away with that one.
2 out. Brian Giles 0 for 2. Giles held up, 1 ball, no strikes.
But if you're a good base runner and you have a feel for the game and you have an idea what pitch might be coming, if it's a changeup or something that might be in the dirt much slower, then you might try to run on that.
And if you're a catcher, you might have a better idea.
Yes.
There goes Kendall. This one is bounced back to Maddux. 4.5 complete in Atlanta. Braves and the Pirates deadlock at 1.
The heavy jackets.
How about the fur coat?
How about that? Yeah, you don't see that here too often. What'd you say earlier? Hot Atlanta? It's not hot Atlanta tonight?
Certainly not tonight. Weiss, Maddux, Nixon for the Braves here in the 5th. Walt Weiss 0 for 1. 1 for 6 in the series. One and 1.
You know, for a big guy, Silva at 6'5", and we mentioned about 230 pounds, got a nice delivery for a big guy. Normally big pitchers don't stay compact. The only problem that he has when he lifts his leg is he kind of arches his back a little bit. And the tendency when a pitcher arches the back over toward first base, if they're a right-hander, the tendency is every once in a while to come apart in their delivery.
2-2 on Weiss.
See if we can show you here. Whenever a pitcher brings his leg up under it, now he'll bring it up under here. You don't want him leaning back this way. You want him leaning toward that leg, and his back is basically straight, but you want it like that. But he tucked it in right there, but nice follow through out over that front leg.
Weiss stays alive at 2-2, leading off the Braves' 5th.
Pete Vukovich, is this guy a pistol? He was some kind of tough pitcher, boy. And when he was with those Milwaukee Brewer teams in the early 80s, I was a coach of the Yankees, and he was tough. Pete has done a heck of a job with this club too. These young pitchers see this big monster out there, and they know that he's trying to build their confidence, and he's behind them all the way. Uh-oh. Silva just delivered that ball and fell off the mound. I don't know what he did. Now he's limping, like maybe he hit on his foot funny. Now see, he's working on the hole in the mound. Occasionally you might not put your foot down in the exact same spot. Now here, let's take a look at this. It looks like maybe he turned his ankle or his knee, probably hit on the side of the hole. Now here he goes up, lifts his leg. Now his front leg is going to try to hit in a hole, and he slips. See how it rolls? His ankle rolls here. And here he goes following through. And that hurts. And he hops up. See, on the mound there is a big hole that each pitcher tries to land in on every pitch, and occasionally you'll hit on the side of that hole. And he hit on the side of the hole, and his foot slipped, and he turned his ankle a little bit. You see where he's padding right here. right where the hole is. He'll stride out to that hole. He just tried to fill it up. If you don't hit right in that hole, right there, you can hurt yourself.
Full count on Weiss. First walk allowed by Jose Silva tonight as Weiss trots down to first. Time now for a Fox Sportsnet game break at Comiskey Park in Chicago. The Devil Rays and the White Sox. Tampa Bay leading 1-0, top of the 6th inning. And Wade Boggs doubles to left field, a 2-run double. Devil Rays go on to win the game 4-1. Boggs now 60 hits shy of 3,000. Now the pitcher Maddux will look to move Weiss over, and that is not what Maddux had in mind.
Well, Ed Sprague came in and caught that ball. If you have a ball popped up like that, occasionally you can let it drop and try to make a double play on it. But I think what Sprague was afraid of, it was so close to the first base line, he's afraid it might go foul. But here it is. A lot of times when a ball's popped up like that, look at the bunter. Maddux stayed around the plate. If you let that ball drop, you can pick it up and throw it to first base, and you could possibly get both of them. No, I'll tell you, he had plenty of room between that and the foul line. Especially when the bunter doesn't get out of the box right away. Good chance for a double play if you let that drop.
And Sprague may have been thinking about the potential throw. He's committed 7 errors this year, most of them throwing it.
Well, there's another thing, too. If you're on a dead run like that and you let it drop and it takes a hop away from you, you can run right by it.
Yes.
But, you know, what you might try to do is throw the ball. If you didn't even want to throw it to first base, you want to throw to second and exchange runners. Then you have the pitcher running. You'd have Maddux running, and a lot of times you like to have that happen. But you got to react right away. It's easy for us up here to sit and think about the possibility, but when you're on that field, you have to react quickly.
Otis Nixon 0 for 2. There goes Weiss. Bounce to the pitcher Silva. Safe at second. Safe at first.
With a runner going, Walt Weiss was going. And obviously, Jose Silva didn't know he was going. He turned to make the throw to second base, which was the proper play normally. But the little hesitation when he turned caused both runners to be safe. Here it is. Here's the ball back at him. Now he's doing the right thing. He turns, but he hesitated just for a minute. Weiss beats it there, and that hesitation allowed Otis Nixon to beat it out. See, just a little hesitation on the mound.
So runners on first and second following the fielder's choice. Only one away here in the Braves' 5th. Weiss the runner on at second. Nixon down at first. Brett Boone at the plate. 1 for 2. Singled his last time up. Boone 5 hits in the series. 5 for 11 as he takes strike 1.
Brett Boone has really changed his stroke. 2 years ago, he used to take the head of the bat and he used to aim down to the numbers behind him. He and his father, Bob, who of course had a great career, worked on his hitting, and now he's flattened his bat out up over his head a little bit, and it's made him a much better hitter this way.
One and one on Boone.
Well, here's what he did last year. The head of this bat used to come down this way, and it made his hands much slower. But now you see how he gets the bat in position to hit. 2 years ago, he couldn't do this. Last year, he was able to do this to the tune of 24 home runs worth out of this stance.
And he drove in 95.
How about that family, the Boone family? Holy mackerel. His grandfather, Ray, was an all-star. His father was, until Carlton Fisk played more games than he did, had the record for most. And there's Don Baylor, the hitting coach. We were talking about the Boone family and the Bell family. Buddy Bell and his son David and 2 other sons playing in the minor leagues. Father Gus, Buddy's father Gus, was a major league player for a long time and an all-star with Cincinnati.
There are the runners. Weiss down at second base. Nixon at first. Chipper Jones waiting on deck. 2-2 the count on Brett Boone. Silva checks the runner. Weiss at second. Checks again. Now delivers. Just fouled down the third baseline.
Well, this is interesting. If you watch Brett Boone's hands, he was getting ready for a fastball. See how it's there it is. Yeah, now he brings the hands back and gets into position to hit, and he gets the head out. He's got a big hitch in his swing for a little guy. He's not a great big guy, but he really generates power. But by flattening the bat out, it enables him to get the bat through quicker. And if you're the Pirates, you're really concerned about giving an extra out in an inning when you're in the middle of the opposition's batting order, where the best hitters are coming up.
The 2-2 from Silva. Right away and a full count on Boone with just one out here in the fifth. Braves threatening, tied at 1.
Now you're back into a hitter's count because Silva can't mess around with a breaking ball here. He's got to just challenge. Of course, he's throwing hard. That last pitch was still 93. But Brett Boone is going to be cranked up. Now that's good to shake no. That's good to shake no there because it is really basically a fastball situation. And they call a balk. They call the balk. Gene Lamont will come out of the dugout to talk about this. But he started to say he shook his head no. Now maybe he didn't step off the rubber properly when he shook no. Angel Hernandez is trying to explain this to him right now. Once you come to a dead stop at your stretch position, you have to step off with your right foot before you move your hands. Now we'll see if we see anything. Well, he's looking for the sign. He didn't even get set. He's looking for the sign. He shakes no. Oh, that's what they got him for right there. They got him because he bent down a little farther, like he looked like he was going to start his delivery. Watch how he bends down just a little bit. Oh, and all he said was, if you could read his lips, I can't see. And he dipped his shoulders down, and it looked like he was starting to come up to a set position. I was about to say, if you're in a fastball situation and your pitcher shakes no, that puts a thought in the hitter's mind. Maybe they're going to a breaking ball there, but that's not what that situation was. Silva says, I can't see. And he looked like he started his motion.
So the runners now on second and third with a full count on Boone. Into right field, base hit. One run is in. Here comes Nixon. 3-1 Braves.
We talked about this being a hitter's count, 3-2, and Brett Boone didn't mess around. He hit a ball to right field. Great piece of base running by Otis Nixon. Otis Nixon recognizes, watch this swing. Good hard fastball in the middle of the plate out over. Doesn't try to pull it, shoots it to right field. Now Otis Nixon recognizes this right away, even though some base runners might hold up. He recognizes this is a base hit and he's tearing for home. The only bad part of this is a bad throw from Brian Giles. He overshot the cutoff man and put the runner at second base. This was the only part of this play that was not a good play on the defense, was that if you airmail the ball in over the cutoff man, which Brian Giles did, allowed the runner Brett Boone to go to second base.
So a 2-run single. Boone went to second on the throw. RBIs number 10 and 11 on the season. Chipper Jones into center. Coming on is Brant Brown. And he makes it look a little bit tougher than it probably should have been.
I'll tell you what, the wind is blowing a gale right now, and that was really a high pop-up. And Brant Brown thought he was under it, and the wind is blowing this ball. Look at him coming. Boy, he's got to get rolling. Look where this ball ends up. This ball looked like it was going to be in center field, and the ball is right behind second base. Look how far he had to come here. That flag in center field right now is blowing a gale.
2 outs. 0-1 on Brian Jordan. Jordan 0 for 2 tonight. 1-1. Two runs in here in the 5th on only one base hit. Weiss led off the inning with a walk. Maddux popped out. Then Nixon grounded into a fielder's choice, but both Weiss at second and Nixon at first safe on the play. They both moved over on the balk, committed by Silva. Here's Sprague, and he makes the throw over to first. But the Braves score 2 in the 5th, and they lead the Pirates 3-1. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Zima, a few degrees cooler.
Well, this is very interesting. Pete Vukovich talking to his young big right-hander about the balk, and he's telling him how to do this. If you start to look for the sign and dip, get your foot off the rubber. And it's a shame it cost him a run.
Quickly one out here in the Pirates' 6th, as Kevin Young flied out to Andrew Jones in center. Here's Brant Brown. Brown 0 for 2 tonight.
Well, you can't maximize how important one pitch outs are, especially for a starting pitcher getting later in the game. Catfish Hunter, of course, in the Hall of Fame, used to do this. He'd throw the first couple right in there, and he'd get those fly balls to center field, and he made it look easy. Easy offers, they call them.
Especially on a cold night. Maddux usually works fast.
Yep.
Under any circumstance.
And he throws strikes. And if he can put the ball where he wants it, he makes the hitters hit the ball that he wants them to hit to the big part of the ballpark.
The 1-2. Now 2-2 on Brown. Maddux has finally allowed a run against Pittsburgh. He shut them out in 16 2/3 last year. Brown stays alive, 2-2.
Boy, it really is something to watch him. You can see he gets off the mound to moisten his fingers. It's cold out here, but he's constant. Look how pitchers always feel the ball. See, he doesn't like that ball. He's going to throw it back. The seams on the ball are so important. If the seams are not raised, especially in cold weather, you can't get a grip. And that's what the pitchers feel for. Now they feel all the seams to get the feel. Now once he gets the ball in his glove, then he will start to manipulate the ball in his hands before he goes to the hitter.
Inside, full count on Brant Brown.
He just tried to do something that I never caught a pitcher that could really do this well.
Strikeout number 5 for Maddux. Well, Jeff, this week on Going Deep, it sounds like science fiction. An institute where elite athletes are trained by specialists using cutting-edge technology. But as quarterbacks Tim Couch and Cade McNown can tell you, the International Performance Institute is as real as can be. Catch this week's Going Deep with Chris Myers Sunday at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. 2 away, Ed Sprague, 1 for 2 tonight. Behind in the count, no balls, 1 strike. Maddux misses, 1-1.
Kenny, we were talking before. I've started to say what Greg Maddux can do. He can make a ball start on the inside part, not on the plate, and have it come back on the plate. I never caught a pitcher that could do anything like this.
The wind got a hold of that one, and it gets by Nixon. Sprague around second, heading to third. Boy, you talked about the wind in the previous inning. On the ball hit by Chipper Jones. How about this one?
This one surprised Otis. You know, first of all, when you got a hitter who's strong and capable of hitting it out of the ballpark, he takes a full swing and it doesn't go anywhere. This was a combination of the ball hit down on the handle a little bit and also the wind catching it. Here's the pitch. Because he didn't get it really on the sweet spot of the bat, and the ball didn't go nearly as far as Otis Nixon thought it would be, and he was on the dead run, and he was trying to come in and just smother the ball, and it bounced by him.
First triple in the last 2 seasons for Ed Sprague, a 2-out triple. Al Martin, slow roller. First baseman Klesko flipping to Maddux. And that will do it for the Pirates in the 6th. They strand 1 and trail the Braves 3-1. The Pittsburgh Pirates have won their last 2 series on the road, something they did not do at all last season. Went back-to-back road series, looking to make it 3 straight. They beat the Braves on Tuesday night 5-3. Braves came back last night 5-4. And Atlanta leads tonight's game 3-1. As we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Klesko, Andrew Jones, and Perez for the Braves. Ryan Klesko 0 for 2 tonight. Jose Silva working into the 6th. He's allowed 3 runs on only 5 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 4 in his first major league start this season. He was 2-0 in Nashville with an earned run average of 1.50 in 2 injury rehab starts. The 0-2 to Klesko. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Penny's thrown 83 pitches, and he is still throwing hard, and that bite is still on the curveball. Normally what happens is when late innings, when the pitchers get tired.
Base hit center field. Klesko's first hit of the game, a leadoff single in the 6th. This Saturday, it's FX Baseball Saturday as the New York Yankees visit the Kansas City Royals. Yankees, winners of 2 of the last 3 World Series titles, catch the Yankees and the Royals this Saturday on FX.
There's some pretty good players we're going to see this weekend. David Cone is off to another outstanding start. Derek Jeter is making a run at the batting title. He came very close last year. Teammate Bernie Williams won it.
David Cone scheduled to start on Saturday, a former Royal, as is his sizzling Yankee teammate Chili Davis.
That's right. Except David came up through that system.
Yes, then left, came back,
right,
left again.
Right.
Andrew Jones takes ball 2. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
What I started to say before was that when a pitcher gets later in the game, when he gets a little tired, it might not be, and here's Andrew Jones's profile, can pull anybody's fastball. He mentioned that. Much more patient to plate now. Can have some problems with off-speed stuff.
Klesko is on the move. This one bounced to Sprague at third. Fires across. 1 away.
And you can see it doesn't matter what's thrown to him. He can pull the ball. But when a pitcher gets a little tired late in the game, he still might be throwing the ball hard, 93, 94 miles an hour. But what happens is he loses his location a little bit. And that comes from the legs getting a little tired. Of course, it's cold out here tonight, so it's not like you're overwhelmed by heat, you know, when you really run down. So you stay a little stronger in the cold weather.
Kendall out for a chat with Silva.
Now, the reason he's talking to him now, they're making sure of the signs. Now, when you have a runner at second base, the catcher and the pitcher and the middle infielders all want to make sure that they're on the same page with the signs. And also, you want to make sure that you're not giving your signs away.
Eddie Perez 1 for 2. Klesko, the runner, down at second base with 1 out. In the bottom of the 6th. Right back to the mound. Silva had some trouble with it and then throws him out. 2 out. Here in the 6th inning.
Now that could have been trouble when that ball comes off like that, but fortunately he had a catcher who doesn't run real well running there. I hate to say that. It's a terrible thing for an ex-catcher to say, but see, that ball's off the hands.
An ex-catcher with 3 career stolen bases.
Yeah. But
I knew my Jeff Torborg career statistics page would come in handy at some point this season.
Well, you know, the Stars have about 15 pages in the press guide. I didn't fill up one.
Not bad. 3 steals in 10 seasons.
Put that away, please.
Walt Weiss with 2 outs. Weiss 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. And Weiss gets a hold of this one. A ground rule double. It bounces over the fence. Klesko comes in to score. It is now 4-1. Atlanta, RBI number 8 for Walt Weiss.
That's a big at bat with 2 outs to score and drive in a run like that. And Walt Weiss has done that whole career. He likes the fastball. We talked about he has trouble with the ball up and in. This ball is right in the middle of the plate. Even though it's a good fastball, Walt turns on it and drives it down the right field line.
This will probably be Silva's last inning. He's due up second in the 7th. And Jeff Wallace is warming up in the Pirates bullpen. Here's Greg Maddux, who picked up his 4th hit of the season earlier. This time grounds out to the second baseman Morris. But the Braves score another run on 2 hits. And they now lead Jose Silva and the Bucks 4-1. Time now for a great player of the century presented by American Century Mutual Funds. Tonight's player is Lou Brock, the former leader in career steals. He once held the record for stolen bases in one season with 118. The 14th player to collect 3,000 hits. Lou is the perfect leadoff man. He hit for average and drove opposing pitchers crazy with his speed. And let's not forget that he helped the Cardinals win a pair of championships. Hall of Famer Lou Brock, a great player of the century, presented by American Century. And Warren Morris leads off the Pirates' 7th with a base hit to center field.
That's a pitch right in the middle of the plate, and Morris drives that base runner in.
We welcome those of you who have just watched the Washington Wizards defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers 97-86 on Fox Sports Net Ohio. Kenny Albert with Jeff Torborg from Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia. Greg Maddux on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. And the Braves lead the Pirates by the score of 4-1 here in the top of the 7th inning. And a pinch hitter for the pitcher Silva. It will be Turner Ward, the 10-year veteran, 1 for 5 as a pinch hitter so far this season, with Morris, the leadoff man, on at first. Maddux, believe it or not, Jeff, has now allowed a hit in every inning tonight.
We mentioned earlier, Kenny, that he gets the hitters that try to hit the pitches that he wants them to hit. Now, the last pitch that Warren Morris drove back through the middle was not where Greg Maddux wanted it. He was trying to get the ball to sink away from him, and he got it up in the middle of the plate. But if he gets the ball down, he'll get a double play in this situation, or he can also, in the way he pitches, gets it. Here's a line drive. There's a nice play.
But Klesko could not make the play at first, so the Braves get 1. The lead runner, Morris.
Well, this ball went back at Maddux so fast I thought it was a line drive. It was a bullet back to him. He made a nice play to second base, and the runner was bearing down on second base. Here's the play again.
Hit just in front of the plate, and again, no error on the play because you cannot assume the second out. And a good play by Morris to take out Weiss.
Yeah, he was bearing down there, running hard. Walt Weiss came across. You could see him tap the base. He threw the ball while he was jumping. He threw it sidearm and threw it into the ground.
So 1 away. Here's Jason Kendall, who has 2 hits tonight. 2 for 3 with a run scored.
86 pitches. It'll be interesting to see how long Bobby Cox will go with Greg Maddux. Early in the season, he normally goes around 100 pitches with most of his starters. Later in the year, he'll go 125, 130. Not a whole lot more than that. Bobby's not been in either of these starters are trying to get complete games. They're trying to win games now in the latter part of the year and stay fresh.
Tom Glavine pitched the Braves' first complete game of the season last night. It did not look like he would last early on, allowing 4 runs in the second, but he hung in there for a 5-4 victory. 1-2 on Kendall. In fact, after Glavine allowed the 4 runs, Braves fell behind 4-0. Bobby Cox said to him in the dugout, well, you'll win the game 5-4.
Did he really? That's pretty good projection.
Kendall with a base hit into right field. Ward heading towards third. And the Pirates have runners on the corners with the potential tying run coming to the plate. Third consecutive base hit for Kendall. He had been 4 for his last 32.
Well, you call it on the first base hit he got, and that little bloop behind first base. Those are the kinds of things that get you out of slumps. But also, he has such a nice approach to hitting it. He doesn't get himself out too much. I think what happens is when he goes into a slump, more often than not, he's hitting the ball right at somebody.
It's no coincidence that Kendall breaks out of the slump tonight after meeting one of his heroes, your son, professional wrestler Dale Torborg.
Well, they were really talking it up, weren't they, in the clubhouse before the game?
Jason said, oh, I might need to take my shirt off. So runners on first and third for the Pirates. Ward down at third. Kendall on at first. Pat Mears has 2 hits tonight, and he's driven in the Pirates' only run.
When you watch Greg Maddux at his best, you can see him pitch the corners. He works the corners. He stays out of the middle of the plate. When he's having an off day, it's when he makes a mistake in the middle of the plate. You hardly ever see him work there. It's always on the corners.
0-2 on Mears. He went fishing for that one. Strikeout number 6 for Maddux.
That ball, I believe, was a curveball, and I watched Eddie Perez's sign, and he gave him a 2, and this was a breaking ball in the dirt. This is a terrific stop by Perez, and Mears was completely fooled. Here goes the ball down. Yeah, that's a curveball. Look at that. That thing's got to be 1.5 feet outside. Nice play by Eddie Perez, the catcher.
So 2 on, 2 out. Ryan Giles 0 for 3. Giles, the only Pirate, aside from the pitcher Silva, who has not reached base in the game tonight. And he pops it up. Shallow left. Nixon moving over, and he makes the catch. So the Pirates strand 2 in the 7th. Braves lead 4-1. Let's take a look at what's coming your way tonight on Fox Sports News following the game. For that, we take you to the Fox Network Center.
Sony PlayStation presents this Fox Sports News Sports Break.
Hi, I'm Chris Myers of Fox Sports News with this sports break. The Yankees have placed Roger Clemens on the 15-day disabled list with a strained hamstring. It had been nagging him for a few weeks. And Jim Thome and 3 other Cleveland and Boston players were suspended by the American League for their roles in last week's brawls. News, scores, and highlights nightly on Fox Sports News, right here on Fox Sports Net.
7th inning stretch time in Atlanta with the Braves leading 4-1. New pitcher for the Pirates, 25-year-old right-hander, rookie Jason Phillips, born in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, home of the Little League World Series.
He doesn't look like a little leaguer. 6'6", 225 pounds. He's a big kid. This is his 6th game.
Split last year between AA and AAA. So Phillips on in relief of Jose Silva. The line on Silva, Jeff, 6 innings. He allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, walked 1, and struck out 4. in his 1999 Pirates debut.
Kenny, I thought he pitched a heck of a game. I think he deserved to have a better outing than it's the way it turned out. The one was the play that he made that kept the inning going on a fielder's choice throwing to second base, and was a little late on the play at second, and Otis Nixon beat the play out on the other end at first base, and the next thing you know, instead of having a force out or possibly a double play, he had no outs on the play. But I thought he pitched very well, and he threw real hard. He seems to be back after the injuries he's had, and certainly getting hit in the face in spring training and the broken arm last year. He threw very well tonight.
So Phillips will face the top of the order for the Braves. Nixon, Boone, and Jones. Otis Nixon 0 for 3, but he's reached base his last 2 times up, and he scored 2 runs. 2-0 on Nixon, leading off the Braves 7th.
Well, that's important when you realize that the Braves lost Andres Galarraga with all the big numbers he brought to them last year, and because of that, Ryan Klesko goes to first base. Otis Nixon is not going to be the kind of guy that drives in a lot of runs, but hopefully his job is to get on base and score the runs, and he's a veteran and knows how to play the game. Gerald Williams also plays against left-handed pitchers, is a very good type of guy to have on your ball club. Comes off the bench, can run, can throw, can field. This Brave ball club, a couple years ago, their concern was that their bench wasn't deep enough, but they've got an excellent bench now.
3-1. Ball 4, so Nixon heads down to first with a leadoff walk. There's the 1982 Cy Young Award winner. Brett Boone steps to the plate. We were tied at 1 back in the 5th when Boone singled to right, scoring 2 runs to give the Braves a 3-1 lead. Boone with 2 base hits tonight. Phillips over to first. Strike called, 0-1. Well, you talk about pitching and the job Silva did tonight in his first start of the year. Pirates coming into the game 2nd in the National League in earned run average.
Got some good young arms, and to have this kid come back, that's a big plus for Gene Lamont's club. They are young and talented in their arms department, and they've helped this ball club this year with the addition of Giles and Grant Brown offensively. Gene Lamont, who managed the White Sox, in fact replaced me when I left there a few years ago, won the division title.
Did you leave anything in the desk for it, Gene?
Pardon me?
Leave anything in the desk when Gene took over?
A pretty good ball club. You know, that White Sox club was pretty good. They made me look good before he got there, and they had a good club. And of course, Gene, a good baseball guy, and when he left there, came back to the Pirates. And you can see now those signs that you saw Gene Lamont giving around his face, ear to chin and back, is to the catcher, Jason Kendall, to tell his pitcher what to do, not for pitch selection, but how to throw over to first, step off, or possibly pitch out.
There goes Nixon. Oh, no throw.
Now, if you call this a good jump, that would be the understatement of the year. This was unbelievable. Young Phillips, we told you about being so big, he never even saw him go, and Otis Nixon was at least halfway to second base before the ball was delivered to the plate. This is what you call a big league jump that Otis Nixon got. But that's experience. That's Otis Nixon, been around a while. We told you he's 40 years of age and knows how to steal a base, and he got a good read on Jason Phillips.
Career steal number 603. His 9th this year. And here's an amazing stat, Jeff. Of the 603 steals, only 105 before he turned 30 years old. So he's stolen 498 bases since the age of 30.
Well, when he first came up with the Yankee organization and went over to Cleveland, he struggled as a hitter getting on base. And there's they'll probably call this a pass ball, even though it's a very difficult pitch for a catcher to catch. It went off of Kendall's glove. but it was a high fastball. It just kind of shot on him, and this will happen occasionally when you haven't been catching a particular pitcher. It's tough very often when it hits the glove. They'll say it's a pass ball, but it easily could have been a wild pitch.
And it is a pass ball charged to Kendall. 3-1 on Boone. Nobody out. Nixon down at third. Infield in. Little bloop into left, and it falls in front of Al Martin. Nixon trots home. 5-1 Atlanta. Third RBI of the game for Brett Boone.
Well, he didn't hit this ball very hard. He just kind of flipped it as Pete Vukovich comes out to the mound, but it was right where they couldn't do much about it. He didn't really get a whole lot of wood on this ball, but he got enough. And it fell in front of the outfielder, and you can see Otis Nixon just jogging home. And Nixon scores for the third time.
So 3 runs scored for Nixon, 3 RBIs for Boone at the top of the Atlanta Braves batting order. Our game summary brought to you by Fram. Greg Maddux, only 1 earned run in 7 innings, and as Jeff just mentioned, 3 runs scored for Nixon, 3 RBI for Boone, 3 straight hits for the Pirates catcher Jason Kendall. Chipper Jones 0 for 3 with an RBI. So Jason Phillips struggling. He walked Nixon. Boone then singled Nixon home. Phillips has yet to retire an out in his first inning of work.
You know, Kenny, we've been talking all game about different styles of hitting. Chipper Jones does something a little like Sammy Sosa does. He takes his front foot back, taps it on the ground, and gets in position to hit back here. He brings it back, taps the ground, and gets ready to hit. Sammy Sosa began doing that last year, and obviously everybody knows what he did. But what it does is it's a timing device, and it also gets your weight back. So in other words, you start with a wide stance, bring that foot back a little bit, and what it does is push your weight to the back leg, and you're ready to explode forward. And Chipper does this, and you can see from an open stance, and he closes it up a little bit.
Jones heading down to first. Second walk allowed this inning by Phillips.
How about this kid? You know, it's amazing what he has done here. Before he got here, you can see all that he's done. Exceptional career so far. He had torn up his knee in spring training one year against the Yankees. Didn't even play. And the following year came back and was a immediate star for this team. And they pinch run for him because he earlier in the game had a groin, kind of a tug at his groin, beating out a ball that allowed a run to score. And Keith Lockhart goes in to pinch run for him.
So the second consecutive game in which Jones has been lifted late for a pinch runner. First pitch to Brian Jordan in the dirt for ball 1. So Phillips has walked 2 here in the 7th, sandwiched around the single by Brett Boone. Brian Jordan 0 for 3. Quiet night for Jordan. You talked about Jordan having played for the Atlanta Falcons back in the late 80s, early 90s. One of his teammates in the defensive backfield, Deion Sanders. What a combination, football, baseball. Jordan fouls it back to the screen. 1-2.
Now you can see how the Braves continually go out and try to improve the ball club. Brian Jordan and Brett Boone coming over this year, and boy, they need him with the loss of Andres Galarraga, who came over with Walt Weiss last year. Kenny Lofton only here for a year.
Ground ball to the third baseman. Sprague steps on third, but does not get Jordan.
Again, Sprague, look, you were mentioning earlier, has had some trouble throwing. It looks like he's making sure that he makes a good throw. He comes over and he takes the ball and then he touches the base, but it looks like he was really hesitant about how he was going to go to first base with the ball. And if you've been throwing, I'm telling you, fielding is just like hitting. You can go into a slump and you don't have confidence in what you're doing.
7 errors on the season committed by Sprague in the first 19 games. So 1 away now in the 7th. Runners on first and second. Ryan Klesko singled and scored his last time up. Klesko 1 for 3. And Phillips falls behind. 2 balls, no strikes.
You know, on a cold night, too, in defense of Ed Sprague, sometimes when you get the ball on a hop like that, you don't get the grip on the ball correctly. Your hands are cold, the ball is slick, and you can't get a good grip, and you kind of do a double clutch in the glove, and you lose time.
Strike call, 2-1.
Now, the Braves, we were talking about the Braves, the newcomers. Well, some of their guys, they were really trying to turn them around and get them heading the right direction, and Ryan Klesko was one. We talked about Don Baylor, the new hitting coach here, former manager of the Rockies. And Klesko has been struggling over the last couple of years. His power output had gone down. He cut down on his strikeouts, but he just was not swinging the bat the way he's capable of. And Don Baylor has tried to change his mechanics around a little bit.
3-1, and Klesko gets a hold of this one, but it will stay in the ballpark as the catch is made by Giles. Keith Lockhart moves over to third, 2 away. Runners on the corners. Now Andrew Jones steps to the plate for the Braves. Jones 1 for 3. Jones an infield single in the second. He's bounced out twice since. 1 for 3. Lockhart down at third. Jordan the runner at first base. Ball 1 to Jones.
You watch Andrew Jones, his whole approach at the plate as he goes up now is not one of being fidgety and want to swing at the first pitch. And this Don Baylor is trying to work with him on this too, to be selective.
Over in left field, but unable to make the catch is Al Martin. It is now 8-1 Atlanta. Well, he selected that pitch.
Well, it's almost like he was looking for the pitch in. He took the first pitch just to get a read of where the ball was and the velocity. He had not seen Phillips. And all of a sudden, we talked before, we were talking about his hitter's profile. He can pull anybody. And this was a fastball in the middle of the plate up, maybe a little bit in, and he turned on it. Here's the pitch. Boom, you can see that's the inner half of the plate. He just got the head of that bat through. Watch how quick he gets the bat through. That's probably the only place you're going to see a ball go out tonight is right down the line, the way this wind is blowing. And as it was, that one just got out.
4th of the year for Jones. So the Braves, who led 4-1 heading into the inning, have scored 4 runs on only 2 hits against Jason Phillips here in the 7th. Eddie Perez 1 for 3 tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Number 4 for Jones. He had the big hit last night, bottom of the 9th inning, to drive in the winning run. In fact, in the last 3 Braves home wins, they've trailed heading into the 9th in all 3. And Andrew Jones has all 3 game-winning hits in their last 3 wins here at Turner Field. Prior to the game tonight, they're leading this one 8-1. Ground ball to the shortstop. Mears. 7 innings complete. 4 runs in the 7th for on the long ball, Andrew Jones. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net. Braves have broken this game open. They now lead 8-1. 3 changes in the field for the Atlanta Braves. As you took a look at Andrew Jones, who homered just moments ago. Keith Lockhart remains in the game at third after he pinch ran for Chipper Jones, as Kevin Young takes strike 1. Brian Hunter replacing Ryan Klesko at first. Gerald Williams replaces Otis Nixon in left field. Kevin Young leading off the Pirates' 8th. Fouls it back 0-2.
Kenny, we talked about what John Sherhouse went out to do a couple of years ago. That was improve the Braves bench, and he has done that. He's got Ozzie Guillen still sitting there, an outstanding shortstop who can fill in when Walt Weiss is down or needs a rest.
Strike 3 called. 7th strikeout for Greg Maddux. Well, Jeff, Fox Sports Net brings you live second-round coverage of the Shell Houston Open. David Duval looks to defend his title as the PGA Tour heads south. Coverage begins tomorrow, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings. Eric Booker, the leader after 1 round at 6 under par. 2-0 on Brant Brown. Brown 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out twice. 1 out, top of the 8th inning. Braves cruising 8-1. Well hit center field. And Jones makes the catch. 2 away. Well, we talked about the run support for Greg Maddux this season. It continues here tonight. 8 Braves runs. They beat the Phillies in his first start 11-3. Beat Arizona 3-2. Then 20 runs against Colorado and 8 against the Florida Marlins. 8 here tonight as Sprague takes a strike. So 11-3, 28-8 in Maddux' 5 starts. Base hit into right center. Sprague's 3rd hit of the game, so Sprague and Kendall each have 3 of the Pirates' 10 base hits. They have at least 1 hit in every inning against Maddux tonight, but they've left at least 1 man on base in every inning but the 2nd.
Well, it seems like when he gets guys on, he's able to bear down and make his pitches. And a lot of times when he does give up a hit, it's because he's just a little off in his command on the pitch, and he's trying to get ahead of the hitter, or he's not trying to be too careful. He's extra tough when the runners are on.
Al Martin swings at the first pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop Weiss. The flip to Boone. And the Pirates strand another runner. Middle of the 8th. 8-1 Braves. Back in Atlanta, we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Braves leading the Pirates 8-1. Our Kodak play of the game, Andrew Jones, going deep, his 4th home run of the year. Jason Phillips allowing 4 runs on 2 hits. He also walked 2 in the 7th. There's Andrew Jones, new pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, 27-year-old left-hander Scott Sauerback. His 8th appearance of the year. Facing Walt Weiss, who doubled in a run his last time up. New first baseman for the Pirates as well, Freddie Garcia, who will bat in the pitcher's spot. Foul down the left field line. And Sauerback in the 4th position in the Pirates batting order.
Kenny, Sauerback is out of the New York Mets organization. He was taken as a Rule 5 draft guy this year, meaning they had to keep him at the major league level or offer him back. And of course, you got a left-hander who's got pretty good numbers. His earned run average last year at AA, or actually AAA, was .393, not bad. The wins and losses were a little off, 7 and 13, but a left-hander whose numbers are pretty good, you take a chance with, and that's what the Pirates did in that Rule 5 draft this winter.
The 3-1 to Weiss. In the air, right center. Grant Brown makes the catch. One away in the Braves' 8th. Next week on Baseball Thursday, some of you will see the Anaheim Angels and the Detroit Tigers. Others, these Pittsburgh Pirates against Mark McGwire and the St. Louis Cardinals. Baseball Thursday. Check local listings. Mark McGwire, who some of you will see already with 5 home runs. Pinch hitter Ozzie Guillen, Jeff's former captain in Chicago with the White Sox. Singles to center. Guillen pinch hitting for Greg Maddux.
Well, we just saw a bunch of power hitters on that screen that we're going to see this weekend, and I looked at Ozzie before the game, and he looks like he's been lifting weights all winter. I said, what happened to you? You look like you're all muscled up. He says, when you sit on the bench, you got to get big to help your teammates out in case there's trouble out there. Very, very good guy in a ball club.
One out. Guillen on at first base. Gerald Williams batting for the first time, came on as a defensive replacement. Williams on the season batting .290. Lifted in the air to center. Moving back is Brown. 2 away. As Guillen retreats back to first.
I was just thinking, watching Ozzie out here, and I was wondering how Bobby Cox can stand it with Ozzie being on the bench as much as he is. When he played for me, if I ever gave him a day off, he drove me nuts. I finally realized I had to keep him in the lineup to keep him away from me in the dugout. One time I looked up and he was on the camera stand in center field in Anaheim. They had to stop the game and get the guy in the baseball uniform off the camera stand. Loves to play the game.
Started last season with the Orioles after 13 years in Chicago. Things did not work out in Baltimore, but a rejuvenated Ozzie Guillen here in Atlanta. Started 58 games at shortstop for the Braves last year. As Boone takes a strike. Brett Boone, 3 hits tonight. He's driven in 3 runs. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. 1-2.
We talked about some of the changes the Braves have made. We talked about the bench strength the Braves have. Bobby Cox is probably as underrated an unsung a manager as there is in the game. This guy has done some job. You got to remember, before he took this manager's job over for the second time, he was the general manager who put together the groundwork for this organization. And they had some rough years. They ended up in last place 3 consecutive years. Then he went down in the field. John Scherholz took over the general manager job. What a team those 2 guys have made. The rest has been history.
They won a club record 106 games a year ago. 7 consecutive division titles.
You know that you can look at all these pennants. That's why when we had that quiz before about the last back-to-back winners of the division, you didn't even think of the Pirates because you just think of these guys every year. Bobby has done some job.
The 2-2, strike 3 call. So Brett Boone goes down on strikes. We head to the 9th. Braves by 7. Braves shortstop Walt Weiss played 4 seasons with the Colorado Rockies. Still owns a home in Aurora, Colorado. CHS signifying Columbine High School in Littleton. Not too far from Aurora.
No, we were talking before the game also with Bobby Meacham, the former Yankee shortstop who works in the Pirate organization and is here with the Pirates in uniform tonight. And I asked him where he lives now, and he said Littleton, Colorado, and his wife teaches school in the elementary school, his wife Gary. And we just, you know, everybody just, you hear that and you just look and say it could not have happened, but it did.
And Weiss wearing the initial CHS on his cap for the Atlanta Braves. Mike Remlinger is the new Braves pitcher. here in the ninth. The line on Greg Maddux tonight, 8 innings. He allowed 10 hits, only 1 run. 1 walk. It was intentional. Season high 7 strikeouts. And Maddux will make it 4-0 for the first time in his 14-year Major League career. 1-1 the count on Morris. 1 for 3 tonight.
Well, Lemlinger, we were talking about new people coming in. He's just what they needed in the bullpen. They wanted a left-hander, and so far so good. He has just been nearly unhittable.
Bounce to the right side. Hunter to Remlinger. 1 away. Well, coming up following the game on Fox Sports News. Mariners explode for 22 runs. The Steve Sachs Fox Scope and Kentucky Derby coverage. The Derby coming up this weekend. That's all coming up after the game on Fox Sports News. With the Braves leading this one 8-1. Pirates down to their final 2 outs. Freddie Garcia batting for the first time. Only 1 for his last 18. 2 for 22 on the season. The executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. The coordinating producer for Baseball Thursday is Larry Myers. Tonight's game produced by Tom Hewitt, directed by Dave Hagan, and the head of field operations, Andrea Jenkins. Tremendous job by our entire crew tonight. Our statistician here in the booth, Mark Fedonic, Tom Thomas, Mitch Rubenstein, Gary Nicholas. Gary not having to travel too far for the game tonight. We'd like to keep Gary close to home. 1-2 on Garcia.
Lives up there where those wrestlers live in town here.
Yes. Pirates head home for the next 6 against the Colorado Rockies and then the San Francisco Giants for the Braves. Tonight, the 3rd of a 9-game homestand. Remlinger's former club, the Cincinnati Reds, come to town for a weekend set with the Braves. 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Garcia. Braves 7-2 against the Pirates last year. 3-0 here at home. They lost the first game of this series as Garcia singles to left. Braves looking to make it 6-4 here at Turner Field this season. And here is what the Atlanta Braves have done over the last 8 years.
And they still get criticized because they won 1 World Series. That's ridiculous. So tough to get there.
Towering fly ball, and the catch is made by Andrew Jones. 2 away in the 9th. There it is, 1995. Bobby Cox's club will send the Pirates to their 6th loss in the last 7 games. Pat Mears, 2 singles, 2 strikeouts tonight. 0-1. So Maddux will get the win. His 4th of the year with no defeats. Jose Silva, the tough luck loser, in his first Major League start of the season. Silva pitched 6 innings, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, walked only 1, struck out 4. And then Jason Phillips had a tough time. He allowed 4 runs in the Braves' 7th. Pirates won on Tuesday. Big comeback by Atlanta last night. 3 in the 9th. The 0-2 to Mears. And he strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. And the Braves win it 8-1. Remlinger comes on to finish off Pittsburgh in the 9th. So the Braves take 2 out of 3 from the Pirates. Pittsburgh heads home to host the Rockies tomorrow, while the Braves will take on the Cincinnati Reds. 3 hits and 3 runs batted in for Brett Boone. A 3-run homer off the bat of Andrew Jones. So that's it from Turner Field in Atlanta, where the Braves have defeated the Pirates 8-1. This Saturday on FX Baseball Saturday, it's the Yankees and the Royals starting at 8 Eastern Time on FX. Baseball Thursday continues next week here on Fox Sports Net. Some of you will see the Angels and the Tigers, others the Pirates and the Cardinals. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Coming up next on Fox Sports Net, Fox Sports News Prime Time. For Jeff Torborg and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from Atlanta. Braves over the Pirates 8-1. You've been watching Baseball Thursday on